Welcome to Pinterest in 10 minutes a day, where we empower busy moms to take control of their online business with just 10 minutes a day using Pinterest marketing. My goal is to teach you the ins and the outs of do-it-yourself Pinterest marketing, share success stories, and provide actionable tips to help you grow your business. Get ready to learn how to make the most out of your limited time and resources and achieve big results. Let's dive in and start building your online presence with Pinterest today. So, a common question I get asked is, when should I use a scheduler for Pinterest? And there is a huge number of schedulers out there where you are able to schedule pins to Pinterest. Tailwind is the most popular. There's a few others in the mix. There's also a native Pinterest scheduler. I know Canva had a scheduler for a while. That was kind of wonky. But why? So when's the best time to use a schedule for Pinterest? Now, if you've been following me for any amount of time, then you know that I teach you manual pinning, and I rarely use a scheduler. And these are the reasons why I recommend you actually focusing on manual pinning versus scheduling. And before you go, I'm still going to answer your question about when you use a scheduler, because there are times that I'm going to use a scheduler. But this is why I highly recommend manual pinning. The first reason is you are showing up on the platform to pin, you're using the platform. This actually in turn boosts your Pinterest profile because Pinterest sees you on the platform, using the platform, utilizing the platform, and they like that. They like that you as a business owner are not only providing content to the platform, but absorbing the content on the platform, and it's actually going to boost your Pinterest profile up. The second reason I recommend manual pinning is it keeps you updated with the minor tweaks and changes they make, and it keeps you familiar with the platform. So between desktop to mobile device, they kind of make little tweaks and changes, but it keeps you familiar with the platform and how to use it. And if you're familiar with the platform, it takes away that big, scary, I don't understand it. It keeps you consistent, and you start seeing and recognizing the benefits because you're on the platform every day versus just looking at numbers every few months and being like, yeah, I'm throwing in the towel, I'm all done, right? So I highly recommend manual pinning. But aside from manual pinning, when is the best time to use a scheduler? I typically recommend using a schedule when you know you're going to be gone for 3 or more days from your business. I'm not talking about a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Saturday, Sunday is a weekend. Typically, we take those days off. I'm talking about like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, where you're going to be gone for a chunk of 3+ days, business days from your business. And it's definitely not a must to schedule your pins if you're on vacation or if you know you're going to be sick or something like that. But and you won't be punished. Like I know when I'm super consistent on Facebook, or when I used to do Instagram and I was consistent on Instagram, I would take like a 2-day break, and then I would like lose all of my traction and spend another week to 2 weeks trying to get the traction that I had up there. I call that being punished. Pinterest doesn't really punish you in that version if you've already been consistent. So if you are gone for 5 days and on for 5 days and gone for 5 days and then on for 2 days, that type of inconsistency, you could theoretically be punished from Pinterest. But if you've been consistent with Pinterest, taking a couple days off isn't going to hurt you or ruin the growth that you have. Okay. But then again, it's still nice to see that growth when you're on vacation or you're taking a week hiatus. So scheduling those pins ahead of time is helpful if you have the time and you want to, but definitely not something you need to panic about getting them all scheduled before you go on a week vacation. Okay. But I 100% do not recommend, I do not recommend only ever scheduling your pins for Pinterest using a different platform. Okay. So if you are only going to schedule your pins with Tailwind, and very rarely do you ever get on the Pinterest platform, that's not good. You will theoretically be punished. Your profile won't see as much growth as it can. Now, here's the deal is you might think you're seeing growth because you'll see like an increase in monthly views and that type of thing, but you actually won't see a ton of clicks and saves and engagement with the pins, because I don't really know how they do this, because I've tried this a few times where I'll schedule pins off of Pinterest and it looks like I'm doing really great, but like my leads and my traffic will drop even though my views are great. I feel like they just show those pins to whoever versus being super specific. And I don't know if it's because I'm just on Tailwind versus when I'm on Pinterest, they know what I'm searching for and have more of an idea of who to show those pins to. Not quite sure. That's a topic for another one. But if you do get on Pinterest and schedule your pins using the Pinterest scheduler, then go ahead. If you 100% want to schedule your pins, go ahead. There'll be weeks where I will record 6 idea pins and save them all as a draft or schedule them all for the next week because I know it's going to be busy. But it's because you're on the Pinterest platform scheduling those pins, you're still showing up on that platform working on it. That being said, currently the desktop version of Pinterest on your computer will only let you schedule about 14 days out. And in your app on your phone, it will let you schedule about 30 days out. So it's not the best scheduler where you can schedule 3 months in advance, but it's because they ultimately want you on the platform using the platform. The fact that Pinterest could give you all that time to schedule, but they're not, it's kind of a sign that they really do want you on the platform. Okay. So the bottom line is the key factor to getting your Pinterest business account. Sorry, that was messed up. The bottom line, the key factor to getting onto your Pinterest business account is actually going to boost you versus just using a scheduler. Okay. I hope that makes sense. So bottom line, yes, go ahead, use a schedule if you really want to, but you still need help on Pinterest. I've actually had a ton of students go through the POG Academy, learn manual pinning, and only hop on to Pinterest for like 2 minutes a day and schedule everything else out. And the fact that they are still hopping on Pinterest and they're doing some type of mix between manual pinning and scheduling, they're still seeing that growth. But if you strict 100% only use a scheduler, that's not a Pinterest scheduler, and you rarely hop on Pinterest, then it's going to be hard to really see that growth with Pinterest. Okay. Okay. Action step time. I'm going to give you an action step so that you take action and you apply what you have learned. If you haven't been around before, I do this every episode unless I forget, but my goal is to do it every episode. So today, I want you to go ahead and try the Pinterest native scheduler, whether it's on your desktop, whether it's on your mobile device. And I want you to schedule a few pins or even just one pin. Okay. I know personally some weeks I have extra time, so I get a whole week's worth of pins scheduled. And then other times I just make a new pin literally every day to add it for an idea pin, but my other pins are scheduled. Now I'm getting really confusing in there. Your action step, let's condense this down, is to go ahead and try the Pinterest scheduler, whether it's on desktop or on your phone, and schedule one pin so you kind of get the feel of it. And if you know you're going to be going on a vacation for a little bit, then go ahead and try to schedule a few pins. Personally, I schedule all my standard basic pins with the desktop version, and I schedule all of my idea pins on my phone. And that's just where the content is and how it works out. But you do you and what works best for you. Because although there's a lot of different things to have in place for Pinterest to see success, ultimately fitting it to work with your business is the best thing to do. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, I'd love for you to head on over to my free Facebook group called Woman on Pinterest. And if you want to help a fellow entrepreneur out, I'd love it if you leave a review, ask a question, leave a comment on wherever you're listening or reading or hearing this from, and it is super helpful. Bye for now, guys.